Probably there's no area where herbal misinformation on safety is greatest than for herb-drug interactions. And I'm almost a bit suspicious that to some extent, some MDs and pharmacists delight in this area because it gives them, if you like, power over the herbal consulting room. Because, oh no, you can't give me that because my doctor said I cannot take, or my pharmacist said I cannot take this herb while I'm taking the drug. And I'm thinking, well, hang on, shouldn't I be the one who decides that? Haven't I had the training to do that? So again, you look on these websites and they have information on herb-drug interactions that seriously are based on errors compounded on errors, where they don't get issues like plant parts. So when we're talking about herbs, this is something that the average person feeding data into a medical website clearly doesn't get. That when we talk about a herb is not just the plant, it's a part of the plant. Now, the best example of that is rhubarb. We can eat the rhubarb stalks and it's a fantastic, a nice tangy dessert, or we can eat the rhubarb leaves and die. So plant part, guys, plant part. So they find some chemicals in the plant part that's not used, and yet they base all their herb drug and misinformation on that chemical, which isn't in the part. And horse chestnut is an example of that. There's other stuff where they assume that the herb has a definitive pharmacological activity, whereas for most herbs, they don't. We don't understand how they work. I mean, I think. And active component is an example of that. The active component in a plant is not necessarily one chemical. I think the German authorities looked at this and they came up with probably there's only 3 herbs for which we truly know the active constituents, and one of them was, of course, senna. We know what senna does. So there's this complexity of effects, pharmacological effects, working by network pharmacology. We're getting little effect here, a little effect there, but the network net effect is something significant. So that's not necessarily something that you can then extrapolate and say, well, this herb does A and this drug does A, therefore you add the two together, it's a disaster. Not necessarily the case. So they're extrapolating on how the herb works, and yet we don't know that. So they're just a couple of examples. There are many, many more. And I was actually so, I guess, fired up about this that I've done a 2-part webinar series, which you can get on the My Integria website, where I'll go into all this in detail and indeed give you the solutions to how you can manage herb drug interactions, because it's not that difficult.